Fellow New York City Latino rap legend Fat Joe went from supporting the younger Tekashi 6ix9ine with a Big Brother pep talk and interview back in November 2018 on Joe's CocaVision show on Tidal to completely distancing himself from the young man a couple months later by proclaiming, "I thought he was a nice guy, and now he can't be my friend. He can't come around me ever again. Those are the rules. He crossed that line. I pray for people who cross that line. When they talk to the police and they snitch, I pray for them. I die before you see me in a picture with Tekashi 6ix9ine." Fat Joe's sturdy stance against socializing with Tekashi 6ix9ine clearly has everything to do with the aftermath of 6ix9ine's November 2018 arrest on multiple felony counts, stemming from his involvement with the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods gang. While the 22-year-old Brooklyn attention-stealing rapper allegedly implicated several of his co-conspirators, earning the alienated alias of Snitch 9. Tekashi wasted no time trying to monopolize the situation and go for his get-out-of-jail-free card by pleading guilty in January 2019 to 9 counts while facing a minimum of 47 years in prison if convicted, in exchange for his full cooperation in order to drastically reduce his time behind bars. Allegedly, information 6ix9ine provided has already led to the indictment of 3 of his gang member partners. Before we go any further, let's define snitching in the street code context as being someone who is not innocent of a crime, but reports information to law authorities on the associates that they committed that crime with in order to reduce their own jail time or get off free of punishment. Now, where exactly are these snitch accusations against 6ix9ine coming from? They sprang to life from an unsealed plea deal that involves 6ix9ine and the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York agreeing to not prosecute the defendant for the crimes set forth in counts 1 through 9, as well as additional crimes that the defendant has told the government about, in exchange for the information 6ix9ine provides against his crime associates. Many rappers besides Fat Joe have publicly expressed their outrage against 6ix9ine taking a plea deal against his associates. Boosie angrily addressed 6ix9ine in all capital letters on Instagram by stating, "When you first went to jail, I was like, free dude, because I don't like to see no one in that cage like that. But one thing I don't condone or support is rats. You gotta say you a who was just playing hoe games with everybody. You have to admit on wax that you a hoe ass from now on, period. And I do understand your situation. I was facing a needle, lethal injection, and named bend, break, or fold. Hashtag real like myself, we hate rats. I don't know about New York, but in Louisiana, you will be murdered less than a month after your release. For real, for real. Your kids will be bullied in school for the decision you made. You put all your family in grave danger for life because it is. Did you think about their safety? Keep it 100. And you don't care about nothing but you." Shaking my head. On the other hand, there are others in the music industry that feel that 6ix9ine can go against the long-standing street code associated with the Stop Snitching movement and still have a music career. During an interview with DJ Drama, 50 Cent said, "I think that he can make music and people can hear it, but the original core and bass that he tapped into won't rock." Drama seemed to agree with 50 Cent, bringing up the point that 6ix9ine's audience could probably care less about his criminal background and just want to hear his music. With hip-hop and the streets coexisting in close proximity, for years many rappers have expressed an anti-snitching stance in their music. On Justify My Thug, Jay-Z rapped, "I will never tell, even if it means sitting in a cell." Also, on 30-something, Jay says, "I'm from the era where don't snitch. You from an era where snitching is the." TMZ has reportedly obtained transcripts that have Tekashi 6ix9ine telling the courts that he joined the 9 Trey Bloods gang in the fall of 2017, admitting to helping members of the gang attempt to kill a rival to increase his reputation in the gang, helping them rob a rival at gunpoint and selling heroin. As far as the infamous Chief Keef shooting, 6ix9ine told the judge, "I paid a person to shoot at a rival member in 9 Trey to scare him. The shooting took place in Manhattan. I did this to maintain or increase my own standing in 9 Trey." The street silence of the Stop Snitching movement obviously existed long before Tekashi 6ix9ine decided to join a gang and rap about that life immediately after. Therefore, are there other hardcore rappers that were raised in dangerous neighborhoods that have been accused of snitching in some capacity? It has been alleged that 6ix9ine's friend 50 Cent may have snitched on some level as well. The story goes that 50 Cent was called a snitch by many early on in his career because of his song Ghetto Quran that name-dropped local gangsters and had a few too many vivid details about their lifestyle. Then, in March 2000, after getting into a physical altercation with members of Ja Rule and Irv Gotti's Murder Inc. crew, Ja Rule couldn't stop stating that 50 got an order of protection against his crew. But when the supposed order of protection document popped up online, in order to destroy 50 Cent's street cred, portions of the document were proven to be falsified by XXL Magazine. Harlem rapper Cam'ron represented the no snitching policy on 60 Minutes during a television interview with Anderson Cooper on April 22, 2007. Cooper asked Cam what he would do if he knew a serial killer was living next door to him. Cam'ron replied with a statement he later apologized for. "If I knew the serial killer was living next to me, I wouldn't call and tell nobody on him, but I'd probably move. But I'm not putting the signs up, the serial killer's in 4E. But there are those that believe Cam'ron has in fact filed a police report after a group of men jumped him at a Harlem basketball game back in 1989. But if Cam wasn't reporting them to get a reduced jail sentence, is this alleged event even snitching? Lil Cease, also from 6ix9ine's New York City borough of Brooklyn, has been accused of snitching on Lil Kim in 2005, when a junior mafia rapper took the stand in Lil Kim's perjury trial. The case revolved around a shootout incident that occurred outside of Hot 97's radio station in Manhattan that clapped off between Lil Kim's camp and Capone from Capone and Noriega's crew. Partially due to Lil C's testimony, Lil Kim ended up being convicted of perjury and conspiracy for lying to investigators, and she was sentenced to a year in prison. In Lil C's defense, he claimed that he had no choice and had to take the stand because he was subpoenaed by the FBI. Tekashi 6ix9ine's self-proclaimed reign as King of New York seems to have had a full head-on collision with Bad Karma, catching up to his Test My Gangsta tour campaigns. Beefs with every rapper from Chief Keef to Trippie Redd to Casanova and The Game, and the overdose of trolling that ran the risk of reporting his own illegal activities. Will Tekashi become the first gangster rapper that we are aware of to tell on everyone in his camp involved in the crimes he's being charged for and enter into the witness protection program? Two California gangster rappers were at opposite ends of a court battle that pitted The Game against 40 Glocc, based on a 2012 incident where 40 Glocc was physically beaten by The Game, complete with a video circulating around about the event. 40 Glocc alleged that The Game chased after him outside of a party in the Hollywood Hills with about 10 other men, assaulted him, and even drew a gun on him. 40 Glocc felt that The Game tried to violently use him as a pawn for promotional purposes because of The Game's album Jesus Piece was on its way. This turned into 40 Glocc seeking $4.5 million from The Game, who was eventually found guilty of battery over 3 years later. The financial breakdown request for 40 Glocc's lawsuit included $500,000 for pain and suffering, $500,000 for emotional distress, $2 million in punitive damages, $25,000 in medical expenses, and $750,000 for lost earnings. But he wasn't ordered to pay anywhere near the $4.5 million sum. The ruling was that The Game would only have to shell out $3,000. Many people were puzzled by the idea of one gangster rapper suing another gangster rapper and started to toss around the adjective of snitch to describe 40 Glocc, expecting him to abide by the street code of silence and handle his own drama himself. 40 Glocc spoke on Vlad TV about why he got the courts involved in his street beef with The Game. As far as the lawsuit, I looked at it as what he did. He didn't do that on no street shit. I looked at it more like he did it as an entertainment purpose. So if it's an entertainment purpose, hey, I'm an entertainer. I get paid to entertain. You made that fake-ass movie and made a fake-ass edit, lied about everything that took part, but you did it to assassinate me. And as an entertainer, I'm like I get compensated. You know I do movies. I done did movies, films, TV, videos, so I get paid to entertain on that side of it. And at the same time, I seen it as like, if that was some real street and it wasn't entertainment purposes, you wouldn't have recorded no shit like that and put it out for that, because that's like letting the authorities know. The beef between The Game and 40 Glocc wouldn't die down. In 2017, 40 Glocc sued The Game again for over $200,000, which he claims he didn't get after he owned his lawsuit against the Compton rapper. 40 Glocc also accuses Game of trying to use shell businesses to hide his assets, with the exact judgment that The Game was ordered to pay being $196,335. 40 Glock says that it's risen to $216,775 with interest. Be Real from Cypress Hill gave his opinion on the issue during an interview on Vlad, stating, "If you are a gangster rapper, for you to go sue another gangster rapper for that type of shit, it doesn't seem like a good look. I think you lose a little bit of respect there, especially in Cali, because in Cali, that is just a no-no. You just don't do that." Whether people's definition for snitching is telling on those that a crime is committed with, or people that follow street code winding up in court to solve their problems, it is clear that 40 Glock didn't favor as well in the public eye as 50 Cent did. Now the question is, how will snitching affect 6ix9ine's career when it's all said and done? This has been a Hip Hop Madness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date with everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hip Hop Madness and join the movement.